using a method called RREF. What that stands for is reduced row echelon form. And for reduced row echelon form, you would do a number of calculations to the equations, and that's called Gauss-Jordan elimination. I actually had a college class where we spent weeks doing this, and I thought it was kind of fun. It's you just like do all kinds of things. It's like a little puzzle to try to manipulate the number. To do this RREF, we do it to a matrix. So we're going to take our equations and put the numbers in a matrix. And then all these calculations would happen. And when you do an answer that looks like this. And the last column on the bottom is your and you make sure that you have the x first, then the y equals the number. Okay, it has to be in that order. The x has to be first. Plus or minus your y equals a number. Otherwise, you're not going to get the right answer. Okay. So let's look at number 1. I have x, y equals number. X, y equals number. So it's in the correct order. So I'm going to take the numbers, or these coefficients, and put them in a 2 by 3 matrix. So the x's you don't put, just the numbers. So a 2, what would my next number be? -1, 18, 3, 1, 2. So that's the matrix I'm going to use in my calculator. So I've listed out all of the calculator steps for you. We're here on step 3. Click second and then the X inverse button, the one that says matrix above it. Scroll over to math. And then either up or down, it's actually faster to go up. To the B, it says RREF. It has to be the one with 2 R's. And you hit enter. So the RREF shows up first. And then you type in your matrix. How do we type a matrix in the calculator? Alpha Zoom. It's a 2 by 3 matrix.
Which column is it? Math or
It's, look back up here at step 3. Second, and then the X inverse button. And then you hit enter. And it gives you 1, 0, 4, 0, 1, -10. And so the last column is my solution. 4, -10.
So how's that work?
what you're doing is you're manipulating these. So, you know, like I told you, you could multiply a whole equation by some number. There's other things you can do. You can actually add two equations together, and it still works out. But what this means is that 1x plus 0y equals 4. So x equals 4. 0x plus 1y equals negative 10. There's like a list of like different calculations you can do, and that's what we did by hand in my college class. Like we just learned those and practice, and you basically work it out. You work with these numbers and you do those calculations until it turns into this, and that's your solution. So it's kind of cool, but it is a lot of just like we don't have time to do it by hand. All right, let's look at number 2. Are my equations in standard form? No. So my first equation the x and the y have to be on the left side of the equal sign. The plain number needs to be on the other side. So the only thing that needs to move over is this minus 1. What do I do to move it? Add it to both sides, and I get negative x plus 3y equals 1. And then my other one, 30x equals 57 plus 3y. What do I need to move over?
3y.
The 3y, so I'm going to subtract the 3y. Your x has to come first, so 30x minus 3y equals 57. It really does not matter which equation you put on top and which equation you put on bottom in your matrix. So I'm going to do RREF to the matrix negative 1, 3, 1, 30, negative 3, 57. I am not going to give you any examples where your answer would be a decimal. So if you get a decimal, you probably missed a negative or something. So my solution is the point 2, 1. Are there any questions? Do you still need to see that? Do you still need to see that? No, you're good. Everybody know how to type it in the calculator. All right, number 3. So, the work that I expect to see on these problems. I expect if you have an equation that are not in standard form, I expect to see the correct equations. You don't have to write them all out and show all of the steps. If you can mentally say, well, I would subtract 3y over, I do expect you to rewrite the equation in standard form. But I'm still going to show the work at least on one more. So negative 3x equals 15 plus 3y. The x is on the left, the 15 is in the right spot, it's only the y that I need to move. So negative 3x minus 3y equals 15. Okay. The second one, the 6x needs to come over this side, and the 26 needs to go over to the right. So I would subtract 6x, and then I would also subtract 26.
So, with the format that we're putting it into the calculator, is the answer always going to give us the identity at the beginning?
It should. If it is not, if it doesn't, that meant that the original matrix you put in, it could not, that would be a no solution or an infinite solution scenario. Or you might have just typed them in wrong. I'm not going to give you any that would happen.
Okay.
But it is possible that you could have a matrix that you cannot ever get it to the identity matrix. But you shouldn't see those in this class. Alright, so my matrix, I'm going to do RREF to -3, -3, 15, -6, 1, -26. Any questions? Number 4, the x is where it needs to be. The y needs to go across the equal sign, so it's going to be plus, so it's going to be a -13. So -7x plus 9y equals -13. And then my other one, the only thing the x needs to move over here. Remember, the x always has to be first, so you've got to put that in the front. -x minus y equals 5. So I'm going to do RREF to a matrix. -7, 9, -13, -1, -1, 5. I got -2, -3. Are there any questions? I want you to try 5 and 6 on your own. And then if we... Alright, number 5, you should get the answer -2, -2. And number 6, the answer is 0, 1. Does anybody need me to check your work?